You ever had to restart it? You can give people a chance to start back in there. Give you a time to slide back in there. Who knows what happened with that? We was over here in Ezekiel 11 before we lost a little bit of signal there. Let me let everybody know that. We had to restart that. And we out of here. So we're in Ephesians 4, right? And we're looking at verse 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the ruach in the bond of shalom. So when you're looking at that, as I said, he'd give you one heart or one lab. Everybody is going to have the same mind. That's what Paul wrote to the congregation in Corinth. Let's take a look at it for those unfamiliar. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you, and that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. This is where he get this from. He's already told you that he'd give you one heart. But also on top of that, he told you he'd give you a Kadash Ruach, or a new thing, a fresh thing. Remember, that's Kot, Dalet, and Shan. There's a separation through the consumption of crucifixion or hanging that will cause you to have what we're looking at, a renewed Ruach, because renewed in Psalm 51 is Kadash. We finish off, remember, in Ezekiel 11. We're going to talk about that. We're going to grab the stuff in Psalms 139, Psalms Solomon 7 and 8, and all this other stuff. Let's look at verse 4. There's one body, one Ruach, even as you are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one Alahym and Abba of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. So we all got to have the same mind that the Father has, and that he's going to take out the stony heart out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. Well, let's take a look at that in regards to the stony. A ben, which y'all know is the word for stone. There's not even no need to come up out of that, or to take the stubbornness from out of your heart. Then he said he'd give you a heart of flesh, which meaning that he would make you more malleable to obey. Let's take a look at something else. Oh, yes, that's the Luke chapter 5. The Luke chapter 5. The Luke 5 and 33. And they said unto him, why do your disciples, this is Luke 5:33, of John fast often and make prayers? Likewise, the disciples of the Pharisees, but you eat and drink. He said unto them, can you make the children of the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them, and they shall fast in those days. He spake also a parable unto them. Let's back that up. Verses 34 and 35. What do you think that means? Verses 34 and 35. What do y'all think that means? Take your time. Well, you can get 33, 34, 35. Take a look. What does it mean? What is being conveyed? Does anyone have an idea of what he means? Why did he say it? What is he trying to say? Don't everybody answer at once now. Don't rush. What is he trying to say? What does 33, 34, and 35 mean? Scriptural answers only, please. Scriptural answers only. And Luke 5, 33, 34, and 35. That's a fair assessment there, sir. That is a fair assessment. Certainly a fair assessment. But do you have any passages of text to back up that assessment? Mm-hmm. Do you have any scriptural matters to back up that assessment? Anyone? Well, let's take a look. First thing first, it said the disciples of John fasted often. It said the disciples of the Pharisees fasted often, but they ate and drank. Go ahead. I'm going to take you to look. We're going to look at the scribes and Pharisees first and foremost. Why did they fast often? Matthew chapter 6. Six and 5. And when you pray, you shall not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets. Very well, then, I shall take a trip there, that they may be seen of men. Truly, I say unto you, they have their reward. But when you pray, enter into your closet. I feel like I skipped it. And when you have shut the door, pray to your Abba which is in secret, and your Abba which in secret shall reward you openly. As a matter of fact, it's dropped down to 16. That's what we need. Moreover, when you fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that may be appear unto men to fast. Truly I say unto you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that you appear not unto men to fast, but unto your Abba which is in secret, and your Abba which is see in secret shall reward you openly. That's what the Pharisees. Now let's look at John and his team. Let's come over here to what this is. Matthew 11, I believe. Matthew 11:1, if you would. We're going to check out Psalms 34 in a second and whatever Darius come up with after that. It came to pass when Yahushua had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and preach in their cities. Now, when John had heard in the prison the works of Mashiach, he sent 2 of his disciples, and he said unto him, Are you the one that should come? Do we look for another? Yahushua answered and said unto them, Go you and show John again those things which you do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have the gospel preached unto them. And blessed is whosoever shall not be offended in me. I was talking with a brother I know. Last night on Sunday, because I actually talked about them with them last week. And then his wife or whatever they got going on made a post about this, about thinking that the vaccination again is a mark of the beast. Because, the buying and selling aspect. And I told them, I'm like, you got the internet. You don't have to be vaccinated to buy and sell on the internet. And I know because they're older, so they're short-sighted because they think that all manner of commerce happens in person. You can order food right now and be unvaccinated. Uber Eats, DoorDash will deliver food right to your doorstep. Instacart can deliver groceries right to your doorstep. No vaccination required. It could be mine, man, because I had to restart. It ain't went to bugging out since I cut it off and cut it back on. Stopped the first stream and started another. Like this here, right? This hat. I did not walk in a store and buy this hat. There's no store in Jacksonville, Florida, where I can buy this hat. I had to buy this hat. I bought this hat off NFL Shop. I didn't need a vaccination to purchase this hat. Every single pair of Clarks I got, I ain't walk in no store and pay for them and walk out with them. Not one. It might be one hat in that closet. It is one. LA Dodgers hat, no side patch. I walked into Hibbett Sports on Townsend Boulevard, Townsend in Maryland, bought that hat. It was a hat that junk came in the mail. So to sit there and think that, you can't buy and sell without a vaccination is ludicrous because you have the internet. You have the internet. That just lets you know that the vaccine is not that because you have the internet and you have delivery services. So that's over with. That's done. I was telling them on aspect of, I work for myself. What are you talking about? Nobody can make me get vaccinated. That's not going to happen. No private person is going to ask you to get vaccinated to trash out a house, to cut a yard, to pressure wash a driveway, to paint a house, to sell them a car. Nobody's asking for that. It definitely is. You can get curbside pickup for your stuff at Target, Walmart, anywhere. You can make the order and pull up into a parking spot and they'll bring it out to you. See, what the people are looking at is the aspect of employers saying that if you don't do this, then you're not going to have a job. Now, if they really press that and people stick to their guns and don't do it, they're going to have a problem because they're going to have a depleted workforce. And depending on the job occupation, you're not even going to have skilled enough employees to fill these jobs. See, when you're looking at somebody who work at fast food, you're an unskilled worker. It's nothing to replace you. It's nothing to replace you. You're not irreplaceable because you have low skills. See, that's one of the things that our people you don't tell your offspring. You make yourself. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't teach your children to develop skills that make them valuable in a workplace setting, whether it could be for consulting, working for someone, or starting their own in regards to where they can't be replaced. You can't sit back. Oh, absolutely. And they know they can't do it. But this is a massive game of chicken, if you will. It's who's going to blink first. See, one of the biggest problems that our people make is you don't take the time to develop any type of of marketable skills or anything of the sort, and then blame people who did and said it's your fault that I'm poor. It's your fault that I'm broke. No, nigga, that's your fault. Do you know what I'm saying? That's your fault. I ain't never believed in that, man. And Brandon can tell you that because I done went off on him many a day for calling my phone with that whole victim crap, because I don't want to hear that junk, man. Talking about the white man ain't letting you do this and the government ain't letting you do this. You ain't letting yourself do it, nigga. How a man stopping you from getting money, nigga? That's hoe talk. That junk don't even resonate. I wasn't even raised that way. I don't even want to hear that type of junk. Talking about another man stopping you from getting some money. Nigga, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody stopping you from doing nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You stopping yourself. And as men, you should never raise your son. You shouldn't teach your son to talk about no big, bad, boogie white man stopping him from doing something. That's nothing but, I mean, you a coward and you're going to raise your son to be one. You know what I'm saying? That's coward talk. We don't vibe with that. How we say we serve the living Alahym and somebody can stop you from getting something. And this man say, if you walk in his word and you meditate on his word, that you're going to have good success. But the white man can stop you. Get the hell out of here, man. You sound stupid. And that ain't got nothing to do with what I even mentioned all this stuff for. I just felt like sharing that. You understand? But what I was telling him was, which I've told y'all on numerous occasions, you're going to know when the mark of the beast come, because you're going to have to make a decision between Yahuwah and Satan. And I told him straight down, up and down, boy, ain't nobody talking about Yahuwah with none of this stuff, man. Ain't nobody persecuting nobody for talking about no word, about no COVID-19, man. That's not happening out here. We need to start being serious and stop taking every event as if this is a fulfilling of prophecy and the testimony of Yahushua is not involved with people talking down on the name of the living Alahym and persecuting those who stand for him. Because if y'all think this just random events and his word and his servants are not going to be involved in direct affliction, persecution, and the blasphemy of his name, you are a certified idiot who don't believe a single solitary thing that you read. It makes absolutely no sense. None. The only time that Yahuwah has been invoked is because these people trying to use Leviticus 19 and 18 to get you to get a vaccine. Love your neighbor. Come on with all that, man. You know what the sad part is? Sleepy Joe only been president for 8 months, and look at all the chaos, catastrophe, and hell that has commenced in this short period of time. And this what niggas wanted. One thing it'll show you, regardless of how you may feel about Trump, that just shows you the stupidity of people, not black people in particular, but people, period, who promoted this idiotic imbecile. I know there was a double negative, but nevertheless, you know what I'm talking about? You hated a man whose character, when I say character, because he's playing a role, they all play a role, but his character was to be a masculine man, to be direct, in your face, no nonsense, it's my way or no way, and this is what it is, and this is what it ain't, and this is what we doing, and I don't care if you don't like it, and that bothers you, it got your panties in a bunch. Oh, he's racist, he's this, that, there, and the third. We need to get him out of there, and you got him out of there for an idiot. An idiot that will who would rather have the government privatize everything that you have, take away everything that you have, and have you sit in an utter state of misery, asking for them to take care of you and to do everything for you. Any man who looks to the government for any level of sustenance and direction is not a man. To hear grown men say the government should tell you to wear a mask and to get a vaccine shot, you're not a man. No man would look for another man to tell him how to live his life. You're not a man. We only look to Yahuwah. We don't look to no man to tell us how to live. That's insane. That is insane. You looking to the government to provide for you, you're not a man. How your wife gonna respect you knowing you looking for the United States government to take care of you and to direct you in the way that you're supposed to go? How's she supposed to respect you as a man when you looking for the government to come save you because you ain't man enough to stand on your own 10 toes and to maneuver through the world like a man's supposed to? Get the hell out of here. That makes absolutely no sense. You know what I'm talking about? One thing you can look at on what them called freedom white folks, that's how they feel. They don't want the government in their business. That's not their job. Their job is to put laws on the books and to enforce them and not meddle in the affairs of private citizens. Theoretically, if you would. Theoretically, that is their job. I don't need the government to tell me to wear no mask or to tell my child to wear no mask. That's not their job. But it's ironic, and I shared that with y'all in the chat, and you're seeing that now. This system of education is only about 100, 150 years old. I've been told you that. You study history. No time in history had anybody ever taken children and put them in an organized setting for the purpose of instruction. That has never happened before. That is not how people have learned previously. So you have to sit back and look at that. And I can't recall the white man's name. I gave y'all the name of the dude who created the current educational system at that time. You go Google it and find his name out for yourself. I don't remember that white man's name. You know what I'm saying? It may come to mind, it may not. I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? But you have to look at that. That's right, Horace Mann. I appreciate your shoe. Eric, remember? Horace Mann. That's the man who created the educational system that you shipping your children to. Now these little kids got to sit all day with a mask on their face. And all they're doing is trying to perpetuate the state of fear, uneasiness, and the dependence on the government to deliver you that your coward behind daddy got going on. And you wonder why they made a conscious effort to make sure they remove the father out of the house, because they know women are hyper emotional and fear driven. So you know they're going to be ready. I got to protect my baby. She got to have his mask on. All that. Yeah, of course. But see, what that is, why the people protesting heavy, because the governor, just like with DeSantis, it's an oppo saying. He has to be control opposition. The governor in South Carolina, just like the governor here, has to present an opposing side to give the other opposing side to fight so that another party can come in and implement what it is that they want to implement, so that opposing side can still pander to the people who they want to control with a particular mindset process, and the quote unquote winning side gets to be controlled by the people who govern over them. Man, this junk is a game. And the sad part is that, men, you're supposed to have enough cognitive ability to be able to see that, decipher that, and disseminate that to those under your care. Because this is pure and utter foolery. Pure and utter foolery. You know what I'm saying? And to equate the mark of the beast with that is even more foolery. When the text says clearly in the Greek that the word mark is a symbol for those who serve the anti-Mashiach. There is no anti-Mashiach on this earth. But again, you know what it's come into, man? I told you this before. Everybody take these scriptures to be too American-centric. That you think everything that happens is America is the fulfilling of the text. That is a dangerous thing to do. The mark of the beast is going to be a worldwide thing. Everybody on the earth is going to, let's just look at it. Revelation 13, don't take my word for it. We'll come back and look at why John's disciples prayed and fasted in just a moment. I just want you to see this here, what it say. 13 and 4. Revelation 13 and 4. See, I thank the Lord. We're going to come back and look at Psalm 34 also. Darius, let me know what you got for me. They're going to drop it in there, man. I thank the Lord. I thank the Lord for this. And I've said this numerous times. We've been going through Revelation, things in Daniel about the end for years. You know what I'm saying? So praise be to you and to have the insight to understand specifically and explicitly what is going to happen is the grace, mercy, and righteousness of Alahym without a shadow of a doubt. And the reason why I say that is because, remember, he said, let not your heart be troubled. So when we see these things and we see other brutes panic to move, we're not moved. We're not moved by those things. Those things mean nothing to us. There's no level of fear because we already know. He said that we'll be persecuted by everybody for his name's sake. Who being persecuted for the name of Yahushua right now? Who is the United States government persecuting for the gospel of Yahushua? Not just some random nigga on the street. See, you're not being persecuted if you call yourself a freedom fighter because you're doing some secular stuff. That's not persecution that's going to get your name recognized in heaven. He said, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. Yahuwah determine what righteousness is, not man. I don't care if you think that nigga righteous. If he don't line up with the righteousness of Alahym, that nigga means nothing in heaven. And you're going to have to take that pill and swallow that, because that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination before Alahym. You're going to have to swallow that. See, that's the part that we don't want to deal with. That man don't care nothing about your heroes, nigga. He said, for righteousness' sake. That means it's just and right before his eyesight, not yours. You don't get to determine that. You can't be righteous and be a sinner. You can't be righteous and be an unbeliever. You can't be righteous in the name of Yahuwah does not emanate and flow out of your mouth like living water. That's impossible. That is impossible. It was funny. Tavon put it in there, and see, I already know this because Nell had already told me this here. They see Rick Ross in the picture with some bruised heat. We waking him up to the truth. This man does business with a man who know he a brew, who is a minister and a congregation. That man already know this stuff, but a stupid nigga online wouldn't know that. That man already know all that and what time it is. Because he knows a man personally who ministers the word of Yahuwah. He knows this, and this man live any kind of way. And guess what? That's all it took. These niggas fools, man. The junk is despicable. It's despicable. It's disgusting. That means you're going to be easily deceived. It ain't even going to take much because you still got the heart of an idol worshiper. A clean heart and a new mind, it ain't been made. Because you still worship people with secular success. It's not going to take much because we're still going about to set our own righteousness. We ain't submitting ourselves to the righteousness of Alahym. That's why we so easily duped. That just made me think about how them niggas went crazy for Chingy. Chingy, of all people, this nigga had one song. And truth be told, that song was trash. It just was, the hook was catchy. This nigga wasn't nobody. This nigga did one song with GOC CD, nigga lost their mind. They seen Kodak Black at a Hebrew tabernacle. These niggas lost their mind. Oh, they persecute him because he know the truth. This nigga ain't being persecuted. This nigga's a degenerate. You know what I'm saying? This nigga's a degenerate, man. That's all it's going to take. Now just imagine when the beats pop up. That's all he got to do. Do a little photo op, say a little, oh, he in the truth. He in the truth, bro. I'm telling you, man. I pray to Yahuwah he keep all our minds and hearts and not fall for that folly. Because, boy, these boys going to fall for that folly, man. I'm telling you, man. Okay, word. I got you. Revelation 13:4. Make it 3. And I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wandered after the beast. You know we're going to be specific. We're going to be good and anal this evening. Let's go ahead and do it. Anal retentive, as the white folks like to say. World gay. And I'm not being funny, literally gay. G-E, pronounced gay. The ground, the earth as a standing place. The earth as a whole. The earth as opposed to the heavens. An inhabited earth, the abode of men and animals. A country and a land enclosed with fixed boundaries. And they worshiped the serpent which gave power unto the beast. They worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Now, understand something. Let's make this clear. Mark of the beast come, the beast got to be killed first. He has to be resurrected from the dead. And the whole world has to go after this man and say, who is like unto the beast? Say the power was given unto him to blaspheme for 42 months. He opened his mouth in blasphemy against Alahym, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in Shamahim. It was given unto him to make war with the faithful, to overcome them. Power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. It said everybody on the earth gonna worship the man. Everybody on the earth, and again, it's gay. Everybody on the earth. Not everybody in America. Not everybody in one country. Everybody on the earth. And then after that, they're going to do miracles, the image of the beast, and then the mark of the beast. I want you to come to Revelation 14, and then we're out of here. 14 and 9. Because it's the part that we omitting. Because guess what? Is what's going on with the COVID-19 vaccine? Is it going on in any other country in the world? You wouldn't know. See, that's the vanity and the arrogance and the stupidity of an American. Because you think everything revolves around you and you have the nerve to talk about women. How in the hell? How is that even possible? How is that even possible? That you think everything that happens scripturally revolves around you and that the world revolves around you. No, it doesn't. Revelation 14 and 9. The third Malachim followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image. So listen, before you even get to the mark, you got to worship the beast. Then you got to worship his image. So of course, if you've worshiped Satan, you're going to worship the image of Satan. So then you're going to make a covenant with Satan. Right, come on, man. And receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Alahym, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the Kadesh Malachim and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascend up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. Here's the patience of the faithful. Here are they that keep the commandments of Alahym and the faith in Yahushua. And I heard a voice from Shamahim saying unto me, right, Baruch are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth, yea, saith the ruach, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. Let's come over here to John chapter 3, the last aspect of why John and his disciples fasted and prayed continually. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. John chapter 3, verse 25. Make it 23. John 3 and 23. I was like, yeah, man. He was like, yeah, we're going to agree to disagree. We sure live, man. He talking about Yahuwah involved in everything. Now you're being disingenuous and not giving a good faith argument. Because we know Yahuwah involved in everything. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody talking about Yahuwah, man. Let me ask y'all a question. Has anybody said something to anybody about they sure can't stand them Yahuwah people? I sure hate them Yahudim. Them Kased, them saints, boy. I sure hate them niggas. Nah, you around here talking about the baby got to talk about why he being canceled for calling niggas faggots, for sucking penis and not having AIDS. Nah, we around here talking about how Dale Curry getting divorced from his wife and Steph Curry is seeing a mirror into his future. And how his mother's a whore. And people taking up for your mama being a whore. That's what niggas out here talking about. We talking about a bull-dagging track hoe selling out because she finished last. That's what niggas out here talking about. You talking about Afghanistan going to war and soldiers being killed. Ain't nobody talking about Yahuwah but the people who been talking about Yahuwah. Like Malachi say, that he wrote a book of remembrance for everybody who thought upon his name. Ain't nobody out here talking about this man but the people who been talking about this man. You know what I'm talking about? They spoke often one to another. That's what the book say. That's not what's happening out here, man. We got to be real with yourself. I've said it before, I say it again. Everybody want this man to come back. You don't want this man to come back, man. You want this man to take his time. That every soul that can be saved can be saved. Because this man come back, a lot of niggas going to hell. Because this man ain't going to want to talk. The man ain't going to want to talk. So you want this man to take his time. I know the world vex your spirit if you got any manner of righteousness in you. It's faggots running loose all over the place, bull daggers all over the place, murderers and child molesters, liars and idolaters and thieves on every corner. You understand? That junk rough, man. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Niggas who quote cont, they talk about polite. Having sex with a 14-year-old girl or whatever he did. You know what I'm saying? John crazy out here, man. But that's a situation right there. Her mama need to go to jail. How you send your 14-year-old daughter off with a grown man to go to a nightclub? The mama need to be in jail with him. You sent your daughter to be abused. Now she traumatized. Because I don't need to see no facts, boy. Because I need to know what your semen was doing on a 14-year-old girl. See, that's the part. I seen a dude I know. He said, you got to be careful with rumors. Say no rumor. This nigga had a DNA warrant, man. I don't know if y'all know what that is. But that's when there's been a crime been committed and bodily fluids of some type, whether it be semen, blood, whatever the case may be, is left behind, and they determine that is yours. So when they put out a DNA warrant, there's a warrant out for your arrest because DNA has linked you to a particular criminal offense. Usually DNA warrants are usually specifically issued for sexual assaults. Because usually when it's a murder, they don't issue a DNA warrant. They usually just issue a murder warrant. And if there's DNA to be used, then that's just put in there in the petition for the warrant, and then later on, and then in the indictment or the filing of charges in Florida, because they don't indict people in county court in this state. You get arraigned with the formal reading of charges. You know what I'm saying? Other states you have indictments, and on federal level you have indictments. So it depends on where you live, but. Yeah, nigga find semen on somebody, bro. Well, you're done. You're a nasty bastard. Ain't nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got going on out here, man. When the last time you seen somebody get locked up because they proclaimed the good news of Yahusha and somebody didn't like it, so they stoned them for it? And I say stoned, I mean they hit them for it. Somebody took them and said they must be incarcerated for it. When the last time y'all ever seen that? When you ever heard of that? What you know about that? Are you familiar with such a thing occurring? Who do you know whom that's happened to? Whom have you heard that happening to? Because the only thing I've ever seen is a couple white preachers and a couple black ones, Christians to be specific, who were arrested for preaching against homosexuality in a couple countries in Europe. Because it's illegal in some countries in Europe to speak against sodomites openly and in public. You can't preach that on the street. But see, this is the thing. You could be preaching the gospel and condemn sinful works, but the focus of your message is always going to be that Yahusha is the son of Alahym, and I'm here to proclaim the good news of the resurrection of the King, and that there is a remission of sins. And if you be in sin, you must repent, deliver, and be saved. Who you know being persecuted for that? Yeah, exactly. John 3:22. After these things came Yahusha and his disciples into the land of Yehuda, and he tarried with them and baptized. John also was baptizing in Anon near to Salim, because there was much water there, and they came and they were immersed, for John was not yet cast into prison. Then there arose a question between some of John's disciples and the Yahudim about purifying. And they came unto John and said unto him, Rabbi, he that was with you beyond Jordan, to whom you bear witness, behold, the same baptized, and all men come to him. John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven. You yourselves bear witness that I said, I am not the Mashiach, but I am sent before him. He that have the bride is the bridegroom. But the friend of the bridegroom which stand and hear him rejoice greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This my joy, therefore, is fulfilled. He must increase, I must decrease. He that come from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthy and speak of the earth. He that come from heaven is above all. And what he have seen and heard, that he testify, and no man receive his testimony. He that have received his testimony have set to his seal that Alahym is true. Now, I'm tuning this here because I'm tying it to something else. Come to Matthew 11. Now, I ask y'all this question. What was John the Baptist's purpose? What was his purpose? What was John the Baptist's purpose? Matthew chapter 11. I can pick it up right at verse 12. But what was John the Baptist's purpose? What was his purpose? And don't tell me baptizing, because I'm going to tell you, go get in the bed and take a little nap and think about it again. Indeed, to proclaim that one greater than him was coming, or as it says in Isaiah, to make straight the path of Yahuwah. Now let's look at something, right? Matthew chapter 11, verse 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of Shamahim suffer violence, and violent take it by force. So remember that, right? If you're talking about, remember, kingdom of heaven, dominion of Shamahim, the rule and dominion of Alahym suffers violence. Who do you know who is talking about the dominion of Alahym suffering violence? And they say the violent take it by force. This is what the beast is going to be seeking to do, to take by force dominion and rule. Nobody's taking any dominion and rule with no COVID vaccine, man. You can't be that stupid. And I mean it just how I say that's stupid. As men, that's ineffective when you're going to have women and children looking at you talking about decipher this word for me. Cause me to understand. And then you tell them that. And then that don't happen. They're going to look at you like you crazy. This is why people don't even take people who teach the word seriously, because you're ineffective and inept in explaining clearly and succinctly what this man is conveying. That is a problem. This man told you plain and simple, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the Malkuth of Shamahim suffers violence. The royal dominion and rule of Shamahim, of heaven, of the ruach, of the eternal, of the I am that I am, suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. The violent are seeking to take the dominion of God by force. This is what this man telling you. And you've seen that from the entirety of the word, that these people have sought to take the dominion and rule of Alahym by force. Saul sought to take it by force after he lost it. Absalom sought to take it by force. Adonai wanted to take it by force, but he ain't had a heart. Come on, man. What you think Surrender tribe was trying to do? Nebuchadnezzar. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? You got to read the stuff and pay attention to the nuance and stop being just somebody who reading something, then something happened on the news and you jump up and say Bible prophecy being fulfilled. Slap yourself. You sound like a simpleton. And I say, when I say this here, I'm saying this from the perspective of somebody who don't believe the word and these things don't come to pass. That's how they're going to view you. So I have to say it in that fashion, because that's how they're going to view you. This is how they're going to talk about you once you depart from their presence, if not in your face. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask y'all a question, right? Since y'all been in the word, how many times have y'all seen individuals say that something that happened in the world was a fulfilling of Bible prophecy and nothing happened? I just was talking to a brother. Them boys tried to say, oh, Genesis 15 and 13 was fulfilled in 2019. And then when that didn't happen, see, you got to do it like this here. That people make people look at you like this nigga's an idiot. Still don't know what he's talking about. Same thing happened in the year 2000. These boys standing on top of roofs talking about the chariots coming back. Now, I wasn't in no word in 2000, boy. I was just finna start selling reefer. I caught my first felony in the year 2000. You understand what I'm telling you? So no word wasn't on my mind. And I know, but I'm talking about people who were in it, and they said these boys was on top of rules, man. Dudes looking at them like, oh, man, these niggas crazy. These boys ain't never turn around and say, oh, man, we got it wrong. They tried to explain that away. Well, you had niggas just out here a year or so ago talking about niggas was going to get superpowers based off a moon, man. And we're using book for this. But you had niggas around here waiting for superpowers like X-Men, man. Bro, when I first got out of prison, man, it's a dude, he don't even make videos no more. I don't even remember the name of his channel. I remember me and Fat Boy used to watch this dude videos all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? He'd mix a little word, talk about, you know what I'm saying? Music industry stuff, this, that, there, and the third. Cuz made all type of prophecies, man. Ain't none of that junk happen, man. Cuz don't even make videos no more. His credibility gone. Ain't nobody taking you seriously. I just remember this thing. I think it was called Tetragrammaton. Something Films was the name of it. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but I remember it was Tetragrammaton Films would be the name of his production thing that would start at the beginning or the ending of his videos and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? But nobody take you seriously, bro. Man, that boy Ricard told dudes to flee from America and go move overseas because such and such was going to happen. Ain't nothing happen, man. They going to close the borders. Borders wide open, man. They told you they were going to close the borders last year with the pandemic. Niggas just flying to Cancun. People going here and going there. You know what I'm saying? That make you lose credibility. That make people look at you like, because they're not going to look at you and say that the book is right and you wrong. They're going to say you an idiot and the book a lie. That's what people do. But I've had conversations with people over the course of years. That's how they view it. I ain't talking about people who was in the word and they left. I'm talking about regular everyday people, man. They don't take that stuff seriously. They don't take it seriously. Because too many people open their mouth who don't know what they're talking about. People be looking at why these dudes be walking away from Mashiach because they ain't never heard them. And they got questions and dudes can't answer them. And I'm telling you, I've been witness to that. I'm thinking about a brother right now. I done told y'all this before. I remember that. This is about 6 years ago. Dude got me on the phone with it, man. He like, yeah, man, I had questions about this here. Can you answer this here? And he think as he asked me these questions that I'm going to be stumped. And by the grace of Mashiach, we answered them questions easily, swiftly, and very clearly. And he was stumped. I said, I figured you would feel that way because you done talked to too many dudes who you asked these questions to and nobody could answer them. And now you done ran across somebody who can answer them and you shocked. But me being able to answer those questions wasn't going to be able to change what who had already set for him. Because he had already been dissuaded and discouraged from the multiple men who could not answer those questions. That's why when I ask y'all certain stuff scripturally, how you going to answer that? Because you may or may not encounter that. But I'm telling you, it's people who got questions, man, and dudes can't answer these questions with book and make it clear for them. And it causes people not to believe because they're not going to doubt you. They're going to doubt him too. Because they're looking at it. If you say you follow him and you don't know what it means, then why would I even think it's real? So we don't think that way. We don't think that way. If you don't understand what it means, then why would I even know it's true? But because you say you serve him and you say he with you and in you, but you can't tell me what it means. You got to make that make sense, man. Come on, man. John 11, right? 13. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you will receive this is Elijah, which was to come. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children who sit in the markets calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you and you have not danced, and we have mourned unto you and you have not lamented. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he have a devil. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man gluttonous and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners, but wisdom is justified of her children. See, another reason, man, see, John the Baptist, he would come in the morning to these people because he was calling them to repentance. He was calling them to return and to turn from what they had going on. It's not to say that Mashiach wasn't doing that, but Mashiach had a different mission. His call to repentance accompanied the good news. So if we bring in good news, this is a joyous occasion. No need for mourning and fasting. You understand? And also because of this one, Ecclesiastes 7:1 on the house. Because remember, Mashiach didn't begin to fast until after he drank the cup. Then it was time for him to fast. Ecclesiastes 7:1, it is better to go, 7:2, excuse me. It is better to go into the house of mourning, to the house of feasting, for it is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. See, John the Baptist didn't go into the house of feasting. He was strictly in the house of mourning. He was piping unto the people. The people were in danger. He was coming to make the crooked path straight. If you don't know what I'm talking about, come to Isaiah 40 for those who are not informed. Because I'm going to reference it, but I'd rather you just go on to see it for yourself for those who don't know. You could pick it up at 40:1. Isaiah 40:1. I got to get back on the beaten path. Blasted. Comfort you, my people, saith your Alahym. When we're looking at comfort, it is Natham, which of course you know is to console, because he's the Alahym of consolation. Speak you comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her. When we look at speak you comfortably. Leb, speak to the heart. Speak to the heart. Speak to the heart. That's what you see. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem. Speak to the heart of the people. Cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. She has received of Yahuwah's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that cried in the wilderness, prepare you the way of Yahuwah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Alahym. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. The crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. The esteem of Yahuwah shall be revealed. All flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahuwah have spoken it. That's why they spent time fasting. John and his apostles anyway, his disciples anyway, excuse me. Luke chapter 5, right? Now remember what he said unto him, can you, this is 5:34, right? Can you make the children of the bridegroom fast while the bridegroom is with them? Now, they mentioned that how you going to fast when you with your husband. You see, you afflict your soul and you fast out of sorrow. My husband's sitting right here. See, let's get Psalm 34. Because Monte offered that one up. Let's go and get that Psalm 34 real quick. Like, pick this up. I have to move through that rather swiftly. Bear with me in that regard, because there's 22 verses on it. This ain't a short one. Psalms 34:1. He said, I will bless Yahuwah at all times. His praise shall be continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in Yahuwah. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. The way Yahushua constantly told his apostles. More specifically, when he told Pilate, you have no power against me at all, unless it was given to you in heaven. That's boasting in your Alahym. And they said the humble will hear that and be glad. See, the humble will hear that and be glad. Word. But I'm going to go ahead and run the whole play. Look at verse 3, what he say, right? Oh, magnify Yahuwah with me. Let us exalt his name together. Now, why is this important? That my soul shall make her boast in Yahuwah. The humble will hear and be glad. Luke 24. You get straight to the point. Luke 24, verse 30, verse 29. You know, in verses 24 and 25, he said that, ought not Mashiach to have to suffer these things to enter into esteem. And beginning at Moses, he expounded unto them the scriptures, the things pertaining to himself. Verse 29 of Luke 24, they constrained him and said, abide with us this for towards even the day is far spent. He went and tarried with them. It came to pass as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it, brake and gave to them, and their eyes were open and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, did not our heart burn within us? By the way, while he opened to us the scriptures. And they arose the same hour and returned to Jerusalem. The 11 gathered together, and then that were with them, saying, the Lord is risen indeed, and have appeared unto Simon. And they were told what things were done in the way, and how he was known of them in breaking of bread. You don't think those men were glad? Because remember, he boasted in his father when he's doing this, and the humble heard it, and they were glad. So he said, oh, mighty, oh, magnify Yahuwah with me, and let us exalt his name together. And he told them to what? To tarry in Jerusalem until you be endued with power from on high, and then preach repentance and remission of sins in the name of Yahushua, beginning there to everyone. Let's continue in verse 5 or verse 4 in Psalms 34. I saw Yahuwah, and he heard me, and he delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and Yahuwah heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. He was heard, and that he feared. Continuing, the angel of Yahuwah encamped round about them that feared them and delivered them. And of course, you know, those Malachim came and strengthened Yahushua when he was suffering and broke Peter out of prison. And again, that goes back to the conversation that we have about you have Malachim, you have teraphims, you have seraphims, and you have cherubims. Now, again, a teraphim is an image. Seraphims have wings, and we've seen that they have the different faces. The cherubims are the creatures that guard the Ark of the Covenant, or are on the top of the Ark of the Covenant, covering the throne. Malachims are the ministers, heirs of salvation. They appear as men. And when you look at him, when he said that the Malachim encamp is kana. That is to encamp, for the abode, to dwell, to pitch a tent, to rest in a tent. They rest with and dwell with everyone who fears Yahuwah. And they are there for their deliverance because they are ministered to the heirs of salvation. So, you know, that's where they get the guardian angel type concept from. They take what the text say, which is contained for the righteous, and make it to be anything that they want it to be for their entertainment and their blasphemy and their idolatry. Continuing. Oh, taste and see. This is verse 8, Psalm 34. Oh, taste and see that Yahuwah is good. Blessed is the man that trusts in him. Oh, fear Yahuwah, you his faithful, for there is no want to them that fear him. That's what we just were talking about last Wednesday and at Matthew 5. Nobody say, I've never seen the righteous forsaken and begging for bread. I told y'all this before too. I remember one of the first videos, man, my homeboy showed me, man, some brews was talking. They were like, yeah, you got to have your food stocked up because he ain't going to do for you like he did for Elijah. And I paused and I said, yeah, this nigga flawed. Because at this point, I done read enough text. I read Elijah's story by this point. You know what I'm saying? But it's not even the reading of the story. I had already been persuaded that Yahuwah is real and he's just and he's faithful. So why wouldn't Yahuwah provide for me sustenance like he provided for Elijah when Elijah is just a man of like passions as I am? What makes Elijah any better than any one of us? I seen a brother the other day. He said, you preparing your storehouse for the famine? I'm going to ask y'all a question. During the famine, during the time of Egypt, did Jacob them have a storehouse with food in it? Yes or no? Yes or no? It's a simple will suffice. Abraham, during the time of his famine, did he have food in a storehouse? A simple yes or no will suffice. Just a simple yes or no. And of course, I'm going to read these passages for you after I get some participation. Darius says yes. Kalisha says no. Anyone else besides the Wright family? You say yes. Let's look and see. Will that be accurate? Genesis 12:6. Abraham passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. Yahuwah appeared unto Abram and said unto your seed will I give this land, and there he built an altar unto Yahuwah, who appeared unto him. Shayla says yes. He removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Yahuwah and called upon the name of Yahuwah. And Abraham journeyed, going on still towards the south. There was a famine in the land. Abram went into Mizraim to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarah his wife, behold, I know that you are a fair woman to look upon, and so on and so forth. No, Abraham didn't have nothing. It just told you plainly, he said he went to dwell in Egypt because the famine was grievous in the land. Didn't have no storehouse. This man was a nomad, going from place to place. What storehouse is he going to have going from place to place? He had nothing. Yahuwah provided for him, though. Told him exactly where to go. Let's look at another page, Genesis 26. 26:1. He said there was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto the Amalek, the king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. So again, it's referencing the first famine we looked at. Say there was another one. This one affecting Isaac. Yahuwah appeared unto him and said, go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I tell of you, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For unto you and unto your seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham your father, and I will make your seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto you your seed all these countries, and your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And then he went through the same thing that Abraham went. But do you notice a key component in both of these famines? One thing, do you see occurring in both of these times with Abraham and Isaac with these famines? There's a common theme. What is that theme? What is the common theme? Now, I don't want y'all to take this that I'm saying that anybody who prepares for famine is committing a sin or anything of the sort, because that is not what I'm saying. So I don't want nobody to put that in their right carrying hand and run off tackle and be like, that's what he's saying, because that ain't what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. Yeah, I give you that, but that's not the common thing. I can allow that, but that's not the common thing. Anybody peep the common theme? Because yes, that is a fact. The righteous will not be forsaken and begging for bread. All going back to that Matthew 5. If you got a storehouse, praise the Yahuwah. If you don't have a storehouse, praise Yahuwah. Because if you righteous and you just before his eyesight, that man is not going to cause you to starve to death. What type of Alahym you think you're dealing with? You say Egypt? I can allow that as well. But the common theme is this. When Abraham was sojourning in that famine, he journeyed through the land of Canaan. He told him, I'm going to give you this land unto your seed after you. I'll give you that as well. when Isaac was dealing with a famine, he told him, don't go under Egypt, go in Gerar, because I'm going to give you this land. Let me let y'all know where Gerar is, just in case y'all don't know what that is. Now, and it's also tell you, this is a town south of Gaza. Y'all familiar with the Gaza Strip, but this is an area in the land. They walk through the land. And when they walked through the land in the midst of that famine, he told them, hey, man, I'm going to give you this land. Don't worry about nothing. Same thing happened with Abraham. He came and walked in the land of Canaan. He said, I'm going to give you this land. I can give you that as well. But the common denominator is he told him to dwell in this land because I will give it to you and bless you. When Abraham walked through Canaan, he told him, I'm going to give you this land. Now let's look at Jacob. Let's look at Jacob in regards to the famine in Egypt. Genesis 42. Genesis 42:1. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look one upon another? He said, behold, I've heard that there's corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. Now, we've talked about this before. Buy the truth, sell it not, all that area. I can't even go into all that right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you sit back and look at it, they got to go buy corn so they can live and not die. You got to go buy or possess and acquire the word so you live and not die. But if they had such a storehouse of food, there would have been no need for Jacob to send them to Egypt to buy corn. There would have been no need for that. Now, of course, why is this being done? But to get us to Egypt and then all the things that transpired. But nevertheless, and Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. Now, we're not going to go through all that because we'll go down a whole nother rabbit hole that we're not trying to go down this evening. But the point of the matter that I'm trying to convey is, no, the famine wasn't started because of Joseph. Joseph had insight into be able to explain the dream to Pharaoh in order for the Egyptians to be able to prepare for it. Because the famine in Egypt was really set to get Jacob to send the sons there to get Yasharal there so that in due time you would be redeemed from there, that he could give the land of Canaan that he promised to Isaac and Abraham, like we just read, so that the kingdom of heaven, so to speak, could be set up upon the earth, and that you could dwell in the land that your Alahym gave you and serve him for all of your days. All of these things just set up the plan. But we looked at your forefathers, your patriarchs, if you will, that these men were all mired with a different famine, and none of these men had a storehouse of food that could allow them to sustain during that famine. Yahuwah provided for them in the midst of that. That's not to knock anybody who do. But at the end of the day, take no thought for your life. That's what you've seen. Abraham didn't take no thought. Isaac didn't take no thought. Jacob didn't take no thought. Because if they took some thought, that's the first thing he said, man, what y'all doing all that for, man? Just go to Egypt, buy some corn, man. What's wrong with y'all? See, when the level of faith is there, your heart settles. You don't worry for anything. Where there's no faith, there is anxiety, because perfect love casts out fear, because fear hath torment. Where anxiety dwells, that's where fear is present. And that's why you're tormented. Get rid of the fear and the anxiety will depart. Nevertheless, back to Psalms 34. We're in 34:10. And this, guess what? And 10 gonna turn around and tell us the exact same thing. I'm gonna read 9 again. Oh, fear Yahuwah, you his faithful. There's no want to them that fear him. You're not gonna want for anything and you reverence this man. How's that possible? And that is need, poverty, thing needed, lack, want. I just told y'all that the other day. Just told y'all that Wednesday, man. That's why Yahushua can turn around and tell you that in Matthew 5. That is facts. The word has already told you this. This is what this man tell you. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek Yahuwah shall not want any good thing. And that one says not want any good. So you're not going to lack anything that is good. You're not, and that is to lack, to be without, to decrease, to be lacking, to have need, that is corsair. You're not going to be in need of that which is good. That's why he says, seek you the kingdom of Alahym first, and these things will be added unto you. That's why that is told unto you, because it's already been told to you. See, the thing is we don't believe it. He say, come, you children, hearken unto me, and I will teach you to fear Yahuwah. What man is he that desire life and love many days that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of Yahuwah are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of Yahuwah is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry, and Yahuwah hear, and deliver them out of all their troubles. Yahuwah is near unto them that are of a broken heart, and save as such as be of a contrite ruach. We done already talked about that. This fourth is contrite. That is dekah. That is someone who is contrite, someone who has been literally broken down to powder, or someone who has been humbled. See, someone who has that's why you're asking for a renewed ruach or a repaired ruach. And that's why he said he'll take that heart of stone out of you and give you a heart of flesh, because now you have a humbled heart. But let's continue. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahuwah delivered them out of them all. He keep all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked. They that hate the righteous shall be desolate. Yahuwah redeemed the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. Well, more so of his flesh or of the word, that indeed. It's been a long time since we talked about that. So, and a shame here is a sham. That is to offend, to be guilty, to be trespassed, none, or to suffer punishment. Anybody who trusts in Yahuwah will not suffer any punishment. They will not be found guilty, if you would. But yeah, when you look at the corn, remember he told you your land would be full of corn and wine. The manna is sometimes referred to as corn, even though it's as a wafer that tastes of honey, which correlates to his flesh. So when you look at Joseph, Alahym have taken away my reproach or my dishonor. He is the one who was selling the corn. So you had to go to Joseph to buy the corn. You had to go to Joseph to acquire the word. In order for the reproach to be removed, or those that hunger after righteousness shall be filled, you had to go to the one who would take away your dishonor in order to relieve you of your hunger. So you had to go to them that sell. Because he said, we got to go to him so that we can live and not die. So you got to come cop from him who can take away the reproach. Or if you don't believe that I am he, you shall die in your sins. If you don't believe that I am he, you're going to have to come. You're going to have to cop from me. That's why when you know your work good, you ain't got to get frustrated with nobody, because that's why he say, y'all going to leave also? You got the words of eternal life. Where we going to go? See, we don't look at it that way. Ain't even no need for all of that. Man, I was telling the brother this earlier. And I've told y'all this for years. When you know, you don't have to convince others that the word is right. I don't have to convince you. I don't have to do any of that. I'm trying to use some manner of persuasion so that I can give you a different perspective. But at the end of the day, I'm not begging. I already know the word right. So if you can't see that as right, that's a personal problem. And I'm not going to cajole you, push you, prod you, or beg you to see that. Just not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's come over here with that John 17 and 12, bro. I had up there, man, before we come up back over to this Luke 5. John 17 and 12. Matter of fact, I'll read to John 17 and 12 and then come to John 16 with it. 17 and 12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in your name. Those that you gave me, I've kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. And now come out of you, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I've given them your word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is true. This is what he was aspect of why did the apostles eat and drink instead of fasting. But let's come over here and look at John 16, because this will tell you in a little bit more detail. 16 and 20, if you would. Then we'll go back to Luke 5. And then we got to talk about Matthew 18, at least get that started. I really need to grab Psalms 139, Songs of Solomon 7, Songs of Solomon 8 first, and I think I'll do that before we get to Matthew 18. You who are willing to look like Matthew 18 gonna roll on the morrow. John 16 and 20, excuse me. Truly, truly, I say unto you that you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. You shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. Now, when you seen that, now I want you to think about what he just said. They were sorrowful when he was crucified. The people were happy. It tells you that we just read by the two witnesses that when they get killed, the people will rejoice and exchange gifts. The righteous are going to be sad. Because he said, if one mourn, we all mourn. You're going to weep for your brother. These people are going to be out here jumping up and down, sending gifts to each other. Boy, I'm glad them niggas dead, boy. That Bible talk, striking us with fire, turning junk into blood, talking about repent. Nobody want to hear that. Man, y'all just don't know how evil people is, man. And I ain't even talking about the stuff because you know it's people evil, because you know niggas out here be wilding. Like, we getting excited because they say the little white boy that shot up the church, yeah, they uphold the death penalty. Never sat in your brain to say, what could you, who had sent that boy in there to kill them people because them people were transgressing against him, irregardless of just his personal idiosyncrasies, wickedness, or whatever the case may be? Didn't even click in your mind that boy could have been a Manchurian candidate. He don't know what he did and why he did it and why he even locked up. Because you just buy whatever these people selling to you. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's been stories of multiple quote unquote gunmen that when after the junk go down, these people don't even know what happened. They finna let one out of prison. Sirhan, they finna let him out of prison. I know y'all don't know who that is. But that is the man who supposedly killed, well, ain't no supposedly, he did it, I mean, he did it in public, killed Robert F. Kennedy. Now at 77 years old, they finna let him out of prison on parole. Because two Kennedys spoke up on his behalf, let him out of prison. He just walked up to this man, shoot this man, no reason. Been locked up since 1968. Somewhere in there, that's when the man got killed. Man been in prison about 53 years. 50 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Look him up. I know y'all like, I don't know who that is. Look him up. You know what I'm saying? That's different, man. You know, I done read all type of books about niggas assassinating niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? After I say that, I can see the vision, the image of a picture of JFK laid out dead with his brains knocked out the back of his skull in the book I read when I was in prison. All this here gone. All the back of that there was gone, man. You know what I'm saying? And they told you he got shot in the front. All the back of this man's head gone, or shot in the back of the head instead of the front. All this here gone. You know what I'm saying? I can still see that. I can see it to this day. These people get you out of here, man. Use you as a patsy. That's the word. You know what I'm saying? A patsy. Or what they call them. Blame somebody else for it. They did the same thing with James Earl Ray, the man supposed to kill Martin Luther King. You didn't go for this stuff, man. These people been coming with Manchurian candidates, man. Send them on out here, man. These people don't be knowing what happened. They don't know why they there. Why these people rushing them? They don't be knowing nothing. Why you think when you see these people get locked up, they be having a dazed and confused look? They don't be knowing what in the world is going on here. See, some of y'all ain't never been around somebody who actually killed somebody and they meant to do it. They don't be looking like that. You know what I'm saying? I've been around people who killed somebody and they meant to do it. Niggas got a different look in their eye when that type of information come up with that matter. Now, this nigga was pervert. I told you about this nigga. This nigga's pervert. You know what I'm saying? I can see that wicked bastard right now. That nigga who was around here killing all them women. I seen it in his eyes. Boy, this nigga's a killer. That nigga killed these women, man. You know what I'm saying? And I used to ridicule that punk bastard every chance I got. That nigga couldn't stand me. I'd be like, yeah, they ain't be like, when the fire say, yeah, you gonna fight me like you fought one of them women, nigga? Fight me like you fought one of them, you punk bastards, you. He want to get out and play cards. Nobody want to play cards with you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You's a pervert and a killer. And not the type of killer niggas respect. Nigga, you kill women, nigga. You rape and kill women, nigga. You the scum of the earth. You know what I'm saying? That'd be another thing too, man. We just have, like I said, man, I'd be tired of hearing chicks be like, why y'all don't check men for doing this here? Niggas don't hang with rapists. I don't know what these so-called women at these time, man. I'm like, yeah, they clearly don't know men, man. Men don't hang with rapists and child molesters. You the scum of the earth. I guess they think we need to be sitting around and do be like, yeah, man, you know, I done raped about 3-4 women, boy. I done molested about 2-3 kids. Ain't no man finna say that out loud. He know he gonna get beat up, if not killed. Ain't nobody finna fool with you after that. Don't no niggas hang with dudes who be like, yeah, man, I got 4 kids. I don't take care of none of them. Yeah, man, I don't send them hoes a dime, man. Them niggas probably and bump them churn. I don't pay nothing. You know, don't nobody do that, man. Don't nobody do that. Dudes know they can't openly acknowledge they don't take care of their kids. Man, truth be told, man, if dudes know you got kids, man, and they ain't noticed that you ain't said nothing about your kids, ain't had your kids with you, nigga, gonna ask, man, what's up with your kids, my G? And we could tell when a nigga lying if that woman around here keeping them kids. Now she won't let me see my kid. Nigga, like, man, this nigga lying, man. You could, there's a look in a nigga eyes. You can see it in his face and in his soul when that woman keeping them churn from him and he want to see them churn. You know what I'm saying? It's a devastation in his soul. That man mourn and weep. You can see it in his eyes. He ain't gonna let you try to let you see it in his face, but you'll see it in his eyes. You can see it deep in his soul. That man crushed and broken on the inside. He can't see his offspring. This woman make it hard for him. I just sat back and listened to a dude tell the woman, say, white men don't fight for their kid. That man say, man, got to pay 6 figures worth of lawyer fees just to lose. Just to lose. Nigga going to debt just to lose and get put on child support and still don't see their turn. But see, that's not a reality that most women could know and understand. That's not something they have to deal with. That's a devastation. Don't nobody walk away from it. See, that's that man's seed, boy. You got to be a hell of a nigga to walk away from your seed. Well, that's you there, boy. You walk away from that, you was a hell of a nigga. But niggas don't fool with that. Especially a bunch of young men who grew up without their daddy. Nah, man, dudes ain't co-signing that. But pray be to Yahuwah, because just like he told you, if mother and father give me up, Yahuwah take me up. If your parents ain't gonna care about you, you got a father in heaven who will. That's for certain. John 16 and 20. 21, actually. A woman, when she is in travail, have sorrow because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of a child, she remembered no more the anguish for the joy that a man is born into the world. And now, therefore, you have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man take from you. And in that day you shall ask me nothing. Truly, truly, I say unto you, that whatsoever you shall ask of Abba in my name, he will give it to you. See, that's the thing. That is the thing. He said that they're going to have sorrow because he's going to leave and he's not going to be there with them no more. Therefore, that is the purpose. Oh, look at these. Florida Theater holds a packed concert, no mask or vaccine requirements. What is the purpose of News for Jacks telling you that? Nothing but to get you a little antsy. Get you a little riled up. That's all that is. But once Mashiach left, you got sorrow in your heart. Your God done left from you. You're going to fast and mourn and pray to him that he may hear and honor your requests. But let's come over here to Matthew 18 because we're getting late into the night. Well, sure, we getting close. When we go back to 8 o'clock? What in October? Or was it November? When time go? When they mess with the time? That is when they mess with the time. I don't be remembering that stuff no more. November, yeah. So that's probably when we go back to 8 o'clock, November the 7th, or at least we'll start chopping it down a little bit because it's gonna start getting darker early. But all I can remember when I was a jet boy, used to be pitch black at 5 o'clock. Nigga be like, man, this here sucks. You understand what I'm telling you? As soon as you get out of school, you can't even play good. It's already nighttime. You got to come in the house. I'm talking about pitch black, 5 o'clock, man. It's over. It's over. You know what I'm talking about? 5 o'clock is over. That junk didn't matter once we became teenagers. But you know what I'm saying? That elementary to middle school time period, think of that junk was the worst. Unless you lived in an apartment complex, then you got a little bit of leeway. You know what I'm saying? You can hang out a little bit around your building. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yeah, I just seen that November the 7th. We'll probably start chopping that time back, 8:30 on back as it progresses. Because it's already getting darker earlier and earlier as each day goes by. Matthew 18, though, 18 and 18. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Because I said before I was going to do that, Psalms 139. Let's do that first. I ain't do what I said I was going to do. You can pick it up at verse 12 in Psalms 139. Psalms 139 and 12. Something that most of y'all who've been around here for a while, you familiar with. And if not, by the grace of Mashiach, you'll be familiar with it tonight. Psalms 139 and 12. Make it 11, actually. Shoot, make it 10. Even there shall your hand lead me. Well, you know what? Make it 7. Give you some extra info. Whither shall I go from your ruach? Whither shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend up to Shamahim, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. Ephesians 4, if you would. See what he said. Where you going to go when you get rid of Alahym? If you go to Shamahim, he there. If you go to the grave, he there. Ain't no way you could go to get away from Yahuwah, man. Well, he's there, but this is what we came here for. 4 and 8, Ephesians, which is referenced in Psalm 68. But let's roll with it. Wherefore, he say, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive, gave gifts unto men. Remember, you're asking for him to create in you a clean heart and to repair or renew the ruach within you. He gave gifts unto men, even the rebellious also, as he said, because when he took captivity captive, when he took sin captive, when he ascended into Shamahim, so the comforter of the Ruach HaKadosh might come, that you could get a new Ruach and a clean heart made within you. Because remember, I'm going to take out the heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh, that you may obey me. He gave gifts unto men, or the Ruach HaKadosh. Verse 9, now he that ascended, what is it? But he that also descended first into the lower parts of the earth. He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And again, if we're talking about all heavens, again, that references us back to talking about that second and third heaven that we have been talking about, and that Ezekiel 8, and that Ezekiel, 4 or 1, along with the 2 Corinthians and all the other stuff that we was looking at. But let me ask y'all this here again. Do y'all remember with the sardine stone, what color that is? The sardine stone and the jasper stone from Revelation 4. Y'all recall that? What color is the sardine stone and the jasper stone? I want to see who recalls that. The sardine stone and the jasper stone. What color is that? Indeed. Brown, ruddy. I'm mentioning that there because remember, we're talking about the offspring of David. David was a ruddy man. It only makes sense that Yahushua would be a ruddy man. It's funny because I heard a brother in another aspect talking about Yahushua, talking about women, not necessarily like something about women dealing with handsome men, whatever the case may be. And he quoted that Isaiah 53. You know, they don't want the righteous man because the righteous man don't look good. You know what's said about that about Jesus? I just went to dying laughing. They were like, boy, they being said that the Lord is ugly. And I understand why you say it because you read it in English and you don't even understand what it's saying. See, I'm mentioning that there because, and whether he sees the Lord as being brown or not, I don't know. I'm mentioning that because it's many. I can remember, now that I think about it, it was a young lady, man, when we lived over there, Sundance Point, and sit down, talking to about many aspects of the word. But the thing that I remember what made it click, because she was bulldagging too, messing with, she was a lipstick dyke. You know what I'm saying? If my memory serves me correctly. Because she was ready. And whatever the reference is, we got round to the point of talking about David was ready and how Mashiach was of the offspring of David and how this, you could see it in her eyes that something clicked in her brain that she began to associate herself with Alahym. Because you know that most people who look like you, they don't feel like that the skin tone that they have is a blessing or beautiful or anything of the sort. And that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But of course, that deals with the society that you dwell in and other things that come along with that. That's why a lot of brews press and push for you to see that he's black, he's brown, he's this, that, then the third. God's not white. Also, for you not to have your inferiority complex of associating Alahym with being Caucasian, therefore thinking you're lesser. And because of that, because that has a psychological effect, whether people want to accept that or not. But the point of what I'm mentioning this for is some people need to have that immediate association with him looking like you. But see, that immediate association will not cause you to hold on. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have enough skill. I'm getting this here for you to have the skill and wisdom to understand. Because some people, you can reel them in with that. But they're not going to stay. They ain't going to stay on the hook, if you will. But the purpose of it, mention that is because, again, David's sitting on the throne. Mashiach sitting on the throne, because him ascending up in the Shamahim is for him to ascend up to sit upon the throne. And you're desiring to sit on the throne as that same jasper and sardine colored man, to sit next to this man, because a clean heart was created and a renewed ruach was made, because he's hidden his face from your sins and blotted out all of your iniquities. Because remember, the son of David, we already talked about that. As I swore unto David, out of your loins will one sit upon your throne. And if you're born of Mashiach, then you would be of the loins of David. Therefore, you would sit upon the throne. So I mentioned that because you should have an image of David in your brain, so to speak, sitting on the throne. Therefore, you would have an image of Mashiach, therefore, sitting on the throne. Therefore, you would have the image of yourself sitting on the throne, because you would be of him and he would be of you. And your mind can process that. Nevertheless, I'm also mentioning all of that for a reason. Also, back to Psalms 139:9. He said, if I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall your hand lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be a light about me. Because even in the darkness, the light shined in regards to Mashiach. But that's another conversation when we actually come to Psalms 139 and deal with it in its entirety. We're not going to deal with it right now. He said, yea, the darkness hide not from you, but the night shine as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. You have possessed my reins. You have covered me in my mother's womb, Mary, or Jerusalem, the grave. And I said, we talked about this one before. It's just been a long time. And we're probably going to have to come back and swim. Now, of course, when you're looking at reins, that's possessing the seat of emotions. He said, you have possessed my emotions, possessed my flesh. You possessed it because I possessed the word and gave that over to you through obedience. But let's continue. He said, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works that your soul know right well. You know, that's the church lady saying, ain't it? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully, of course, is reverence. Wonderfully made is pala. That is something that is distinct, separated, and marked out to be made separate. Something that is made with reverence in its separation. That's why when Mashiach came up out the grave and he said, all hail, those men bowed themselves because he was fearfully and wonderfully made. See, you being just in the flesh is not being you fearfully and wonderfully made. But you being born of Alahym, you would be fearfully and wonderfully made. And again, that is Yerah Pala. Same thing for marvelous are your works, Pala. They're distinct, they're distinguished, they're separated, they are wonderful. This is a reverenced work, an honorable work. This is something totally different when he's talking about fearfully and wonderfully made. Again, that's Yerah, stand in awe, to be awed of, to cause astonishment, to inspire reverence or godly fear. When they saw this man, the men were afraid. Let's look at it now, just so you know, so you can see for yourself that he was fearfully and wonderfully made. And I'm not just talking out my butthole and making this stuff up as we go. Come over there to Luke 24. You can see it right here in verse 36. We'll go to Matthew 28 along with it. And as they thus spake, Yahushua himself stood in the midst of them and saith unto them, peace be unto you. And they were terrified and affrighted and supposed they had seen a ruach. And he said unto them, why are you troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? He was fearfully and wonderfully made. Let's come over here to Matthew chapter 28, because it inspired fear. Now let's look at the reverence. Matthew chapter 28. You could pick it up at verse 6. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said, come, see the place where the Lord lay. Go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead, and behold, he go before you unto Galilee, and there you shall see him. Lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run to bring his disciples word. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Yahushua met them, and saying, all hail, and they came and held him by the feet and worshiped him. They held him by the feet and worshiped him. Psalms 139 and 16. Thy eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect. And in your book all my members were written, which in continuous were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. Now, some of you remember what this means, and some of you don't. When you look at being unperfect, that is an embryo, that is a fetus, that is golem, gamal, lamad, and mean. So when he says that your eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, when you're looking at that in that regard, that is dealing with you saw an embryo, that the father seen an embryo or an offspring. That's what it means. Your eyes did see that my substance being unperfect, all one word, golem. Now, all my members written is not there. So when you look at all my members were written, it's simply katab. And y'all know what that is. That is to write and to record. So he said, when you got all that, my members isn't there. It's written and recorded in a book. So you seen my substance, or Ayin Ra'ah Golem, simply stated that he saw, perceived, and discerned an embryo. They were written in the book, and in continuance they were fashioned as that they were none. When you look at that yet there was none, it is a cod, and that is one, or one body. So the individuals whom he saw who were yet unperfect or embryos, who had not yet been born of the word, their names were written in the book, and they were fashioned as one. Do y'all understand what that means? And that the fashion is yisar, to form, to fashion, to frame, which takes us back to the word that we started with in Psalms 51, for creating me a clean heart, which is to form and to fashion. And I think we read some in Ephesians 1 about those being pre-selected in order to be being saved. What this is telling you is that those are people who are ordained to salvation. That's what that Psalms 139 is telling you. Because he's telling you that the Father saw an embryo and fetus. That embryo and fetus was written in the book, and they were formed and fashioned as one, which is why he said, I give you one heart to be able to keep my instructions. So there's one heart, one way, one Father, one Alahym, one immersion, one Alahym in all and through all. That's why that is stated, because Psalms 139 has told you this. Come to Songs of Solomon, chapter 7. Do y'all understand what is being conveyed? If not, let that be known. Songs of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 7. Does everybody understand that? It's just anybody who doesn't understand what is being said there. I'm going to just grab this Ephesians 1, which has a lot more plainer language for you. Also, how we read in the Revelation 13, that if your name is written in the Lamb's book of life, you won't worship the beast. Because, of course, remember what he told Jeremiah? Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. See, those whose names are written in the book, he already know you. So before you were formed and fashioned to be one with the body, you were already known. I hope people don't realize, boy, his people, it's already done. At the end of the day, you're just living out a movie whose story has already been told. It's already been told. But Ephesians 1 and 4, according as he have chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be Kadash and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us unto the adoption of sons by Yahushua HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, in whom we have obtained an inheritance and being predestinated according to the purpose of him who work all things after the counsel of his own will. That we should, and I dropped down to verse 11, by the way, that we should be the praise of his esteem who first trusted in Mashiach, whom you also trusted. After that, you heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, and whom also that after you believed, you were sealed with the ruach HaKadosh of promise, which is the earnest of our inheritance unto the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his esteem. But again, look what he said. He's already predestinated, already formed and fashioned you as to one into Mashiach, if you would. Songs of Solomon 7 and 7. I'll give you verse 5. I'll take it that everyone understood that. Your head upon you is like Carmel, and the head of your hair of your head is like purple. The king is held in the galleries. Galleries here is rahat, hair, if you would. The king is held in his hair. The hair of your head is like purple, reddish purple, the color of dyed stuff, purple. Of course, you know purple is for royalty. How fair and how pleasant are you, O love, for delights. Now, when we have delight here, you have tanug. You have something that is luxury, exquisite, pleasant, delightful, pleasant, delicate. Your stature is like to a palm tree. Stature. That's height. That's height. Understand that. Palm tree, tomorrow. Some of you were familiar with date palm tree. And your breast is as the cluster of grapes. Grapes is not there. So it's simply just clusters, a school, or clusters of grapes or flowers or a metaphor of a lover, but a bunch of grapes. It'll take you back to when he said that he desired summer fruit. Y'all familiar with when he tell you he desired some summer fruit? You know, I always mention that summer fruit at least 3 to 4 times a year. Y'all remember the summer fruit in Micah, what he told you about the summer fruit? Come over here and look at Micah about the summer fruit. 7:1. Now he say, woe is me, for I am as when they have gathered the summer fruits, as the great gleanings of the vintage, there's no cluster to eat. My soul desired the first ripe fruit. Now notice that he said that the breast was the clusters of grapes. Remember the apostle that laid on his breast. So when it said his stature is like unto a palm tree, remember that means this is a tall man. A lot of people look at this and think that it is talking about a woman because they seen breasts. And I get that. Come over here to verse 8, Songs of Solomon, right? I said, I will go to the palm tree and I will take hold of the boughs thereof. Now also your breast shall be as the clusters of the vine, and the smell of your nose like apples. So boughs, which you know is a fruit stalk of the date tree. Sanin, you have samak, noon, samak, and noon. You're grabbing hold to life. Grab hold to life. Now, see, there's something different with the boughs, because some of you might think about John 15, but we'd actually need to go to Ezekiel about that. I want to say Ezekiel 31. Let me look and see. Praise the Lord. Yes, it's Ezekiel 31. You'd have to go and read Ezekiel 31 on your own time. But I can give you verse 5, though. Therefore, his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. Your correlation with I will go up to the palm tree, and your stature or your height is as a palm tree. And his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in the boughs. Under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations. Thus he was fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Tree of life, if you would. The cedars in the garden of Alahym could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs. The chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree of the garden of Alahym was like unto him in his beauty. I made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Alahym envied him, which is why Satan did what he did, because he did it out of envy. But see, that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? So Ezekiel 31, long one. We done talked about Satan and his issue before. Maybe we'll revisit Ezekiel 31 on the house. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, because you have lifted up yourself in height, and you have shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen, and he shall surely deal with him, and I will drive him out for his wickedness. And the strangers and the terrible nations have cut him off, and have left him upon the mountains and in the valley. His branches are fallen, and his boughs are broken by the rivers of the land, and all the people of the earth are gone down from his shadow and left him. So when you're taking hold of the boughs, you're taking hold of the fruit. Eating the fruit from the tree of life that you may live. Because you're taking the fruit from off the boughs. The fruit extends out of the boughs. I'm the vine, you are the branches. Nevertheless, when he tell you that his breasts are as the clusters of the vine, of course, the vine is Geffen, the vine tree. We talk about that, whether it's in Isaiah 5 or in Judges 9. So his breasts are as the clusters of the vine. Indeed. The fruit equals the tree of life because it's the fruit of the byproduct of the information. Remember, right? Fruits of the ruach. Well, the fruit of the ruach stems from the seed. The seed is the word. So when you look at the tree of life stems because the seed of it is the word. Therefore, when you eat the fruit thereof, you eat the words of everlasting life. That's why you see his breast or his bosom or his heart, where the word dwells, is as the clusters of the vine, because the vine brings forth fruit. and the fruit bring forth life. That's why I say the smell of your nose is like apples, because look at what verse 9 says. And the roof of your mouth is like the best wine for my beloved that go down sweetly, causing the lips of those that are asleep to speak. He say the roof of your mouth. Roof of your mouth is heck, mouth, palate, taste, gums. Yes, sir. I'm going to get to it. Give me a second. So when you got the roof of your mouth, it's literally the words of your mouth. It's like the best wine. Well, why is it the best wine? Well, you know what he said when he had changed the water into wine. You kept the good stuff until last. So the roof of your mouth is like the best wine, or the roof of your mouth is like the best covenant, or the new covenant, or the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach, which is why he told you got to put new wine and new bottles, lest you burst the old ones and they both spill. He said it goes like the best wine that go down for my beloved sweetly. When you have sweetly here, you have mashar, and it ain't sweetly, brothers and sisters. It ain't sweetly. It's that which goes down smoothness, level, or upright, justly, righteously is what it said. So when those words go down, and that go down is not there. So it's telling you that the root of your mouth or your words is the yain for my Daoud or for my beloved. And they go down righteously, causing the lips of those that are asleep to speak. This correlates also. And sleep here is Yashan, to cause the sleep, to entice the sleep, to go to sleep. Or why those men resurrected from the dead and bear witness to Yahushua in Matthew chapter 27. When you look at it, he say the smell of your nose is like apples. When we look at smell, you have ruach, that is an odor, or AKA a sacrifice. Odor of soothing, a sacrifice. So he say the smell of your nose. The smell of your nose is like a sacrifice. So when you see the smell of your nose, which is little nose, is like apples, or the apple tree, which is I can smell the sacrifice of an apple or something that soothes. So when you look at the apple being the fruit, he said, the seed abide alone, but if it die, bring forth much fruit. Let's look at it in John chapter 12. Thank the Lord. 12 and 22. Remember that word for smell is literally dealing with a technical term for a sacrifice. I mean, it's sweet smelling savor, if you will. John 12 and 22. Philip come and tell Andrew, and again, Andrew, Philip tell Yahushua. Yahushua answered him saying, the hour is come, the Son of Man should be esteemed. Truly, truly, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, but if it abide alone, he said it abide alone, but if it die, it bring forth much fruit. So when you see the smell of your nose is like apples, the fragrance of your sacrifice is like the fruit. The fruit is byproduct because the seed died. And because it died, it is able to bring forth the fruit, which comes from out of the bowls, which is what you're taking hold of to partake of, that you might live. And of course, it will cause the lips of those that are asleep to speak, because if his words are like the best wine, and this is my blood in the new covenant, which is said for many for the remission of sins, then it's going to cause you who are asleep to speak. Because he tells you, arise you that sleepeth, and Mashiach shall give you light. I think we talked about the no breasts already, but come over here to Song of Solomon 8 and 8. We have a little sister, she hath no breast. What shall we do for our sister in the day that she shall be spoken for? And of course, when you have breasts, literal breasts, paps, teeth, shod, dollar, somebody has to be consumed for a sacrifice. You have no breast. So what are we going to do for you when it's time for you to be spoken for? Well, when were you spoken for? When this man was consumed by his sacrifice. If she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver. If she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. I am a wall, my breasts like towers. Then was I in his eyes as one that found favor. It said that I am a wall, and my breasts are like towers. Wall, we already talked about that. Koma, literal wall. Towers, you know, the name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. Those that run into it are safe. So therefore, you find, in your eyes, you find favor or ratzon, grace, mercy, acceptance. This one here, no ratzon, shalom, you find peace. Well, we'll come back to that because it's getting late. I'm going to read Matthew 18 again. Clearly, praise be to Yahuwah. We'll do it on tomorrow, Yahuwah permit. But it's definitely set up with many, many things to go along with it. So again, in this Matthew 18, think upon it and ponder. Truly, I say unto you, whatsoever you bind on the earth shall be bound in Shamahim, and whatsoever you shall loose on the earth shall be loosed in Shamahim. And again, I say unto you that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Abba which is in Shamahim. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. I just want you to ponder on that because you are willing. We'll just come right off the top rope and leave with that. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. Bless y'all, the house of Alahym. We got a lot of things to look at. We went through a lot of things. Praise be to Yahuwah for the information. But just sit back and consider, man, and wait. Understand. If y'all got any questions on the Psalms 139, let it be known. Yahuwah willing, I guess we need to take another trip through Ezekiel 31, because we're grabbing a lot of stuff that go with this and go with that. And it's always good to rehash that. But of course, we're talking about creating a clean heart. And as you can see that from the Psalms 139 and the other aspects of the oneness. It's one heart. So when you're getting a clean heart created or formed and fashioned, it's formed and fashioned after the mind of Alahym. Therefore, you have that one heart. And now you have a heart of flesh, not a heart of stone. You're no longer stubborn, rebellious, and rambunctious against authority. So therefore, he can repair and make you a new spirit, which, of course, we know is going to be that noble spirit or the spirit or mind of a king. See, again, we quick to say, I'm a king, I'm a this, I'm that. But it's more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? It's more to it than that. There's many aspects that come with that. And we talked about that in regards in the past about what kings do and how kings behave. And of course, we've been looking at David, so that bears witness to it. And there's a lot of things that can be added on with it. And you who are willing in this time, we shall continue to go through that. But continue to stand firm in the faith. Don't let your heart be moved by the stuff that these dudes be out here talking. But above anything, always remember this here. Some of y'all be like, oh, man. But some people tell you, I'm not nowhere near as harsh when it comes to these type of things as 4, 5, and 6 years ago with this here. Because I had to try to be, because people thinking you're being an a-hole. And I am one. Don't get that confused. Because I am. I have no problem with acknowledging that. But I ask for scriptural references because you have to be able to explain that to somebody if need be. It's not even the purpose of you're looking for to do it or you're trying to gather that up just so you can do it. But in the event, as you're always told, it's better to be prepared because you never know when opportunity is going to present itself. So you don't want to be scrambling. See, that's something I was told them. It's always good to be prepared, to be ready. Because when you're ready, when opportunity presents itself, you can seize it. It won't slip past you because you had been taking the time before the opportunity presented itself, getting yourself ready for that opportunity. That's the purpose and rhyme and reason why you're serving Yahuwah, because you have an opportunity at salvation so that when he appears, that opportunity won't slip through your fingers because you have been spending years preparing for that opportunity. You never knew when that opportunity was going to arise. You couldn't see that opportunity on the horizon. But when the opportunity was there, you were ready because you were prepared. As the saying goes, piss poor preparation, lack of preparation leads to piss poor performance. You can never perform and execute well for something that you have not prepared for. Those who have the greatest success are those who are the best prepared. Now, some people will look at that and say you got to prepare for the Illuminati and all that type of stuff. That's nigga talk. We ain't talking about that type of preparation. But if the time came that it would arise, that somebody would ask a scriptural question, you would want to be, I prepared myself for this day to be able to answer your question and answer it clearly, that you could say, I understand. Surely Alahym is in you as a truth. You understand what I'm saying? That's where you got to be. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. And again, you're not preparing for a debate. You're not preparing to prove a point. You're preparing, as that we read in Psalms 34, that you boast and exalt the name of your Alahym continually. That's what you're preparing for. You're preparing that in meekness, you could be able to explain your joy. In meekness, you'll be able to instruct those that oppose themselves if the opportunity presented itself. That's one thing that used to offend a lot of brothers. They'd be like this here, man. Oh, you ain't got to study? Prepare for what? See, you got to go study and get ready for this. I've been preparing for this for the last 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And that used to offend dudes. I don't need to go sit back and study to get ready for this and get ready for that, to have this conversation with you. I can have this conversation right now because I had already been preparing for this conversation. I just didn't know I was going to have it with you. I didn't know we was going to have it on this day, but I'm already prepared. So I don't need to go do nothing. And above that, always remember that if it's Yahuwah's will, he'll give you what to say and when to say it and how to say it when it needs to be said. So there's no need to prepare in that regard, but that's a different conversation. But even with the regular type of stuff, that can happen. But you got to prepare yourself to be able to exalt your Alahym when it's time for him to be exalted, to be able to instruct and edify and proclaim the good news of Mashiach when it needs to be proclaimed. If every time sun arise, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this in regards that y'all jumping up talking about you got to teach somebody some word. I put it to you like this here. You got to get to a point that when it comes to certain things, kind of like what it was with Moses, that I shouldn't even be called unless it's a heavy matter that you can't, that's above your pay grade. Straight up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a heavy matter, oh yeah, that's when niggas should have called me. But a lot of stuff, y'all old enough, y'all starting to grow. Y'all ain't in y'all 20s no more. Y'all boys approaching 30. So now I'm looking at it at the aspect of y'all should be able to handle a lot of things on your own. And that I should only be called in for difficult matters and difficult matters alone. That's just how I view that now. I don't look at it as like, are these young men in the text, they're babies in the word. That is no longer the case. A lot of you brothers, y'all got 5, 6, 7 years under your belt. So now I got to see you as what you are, and that's a man. That means you're going to have to stand on your own 10 toes as a man, and you should be able to handle your business as a man. Because just like any of us know, hey, you got a difficult matter, you hit your daddy up, you hit your granddaddy up, you hit your big brother up, you hit your uncle up. That's what that is. Anything else you should be able to handle. I'm not talking about not getting no counsel or advice. I'm talking about certain stuff like, I don't need to call bro about that. I already know what to tell this nigga. I already know how to handle that. I already know what this works because you have been preparing yourself for that day. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that because that's out of due respect. We're all men here. You should have that level of expectation for your son that it's going to come a day that I ain't calling my daddy for nothing unless it's a heavy matter. I call him then. You want to prepare him to be a man who doesn't need to call on you unless it's a serious matter. Same way now, of course, Yahushua called on his father because that's what we do. We give praise and esteem unto him. We pray to him. We make our supplications and requests known to him. We give him esteem and honor. But you notice when it was certain matters, I can handle that on my own. Even when it came to resurrecting with Lazarus, he said, I'm not calling on you for my sake. I'm doing this for the people's sake. So they may know that they sent me because I already know you with me. I ain't got to holler at you for this. I already know this is a light matter. I don't even need you for this because you've given me the ability, power, and authority to be able to execute that. But I'm doing this so these people can know who I am. When it came to a heavy matter, then you seen he saw to his father expeditiously, immediately, forthwith, with no delay. With no delay. Why you think he was so hard on his apostles? Because he know I got to be hard on you and harsh with you because I'm not going to be here with you. And I need you to be able to hold this down as men. I know if it's a difficult matter, you'll come pray unto me. I understand that. He said, but you without understanding, because I got work for you to do. And what a lot of people don't understand, somebody that harsh and that hard is because they know that you have the ability to accomplish something. So they have that expectation that I know that you can handle this on your own. Most of us are not accustomed to that because you're raised by a woman, and a woman ain't going to give you that level of confidence to look you in the face and say that I'm going to bust you dead upside your head because I know you better than that, because I need you to be prepared to handle this right here because I'm not going to be with you when the time comes for you to have to go out here on your own. And I need to know that you're going to be able to hold it down because I know you can, but you don't know you can, and you're not properly applying yourself properly to do what I know that you can do. See, that's the difference between a man and a woman. A man going to see that and make sure that the cream rises to the top. 9 times out of 10, that woman going to bathe him. He fall down, she want to pick him up and hold him. He crying, she want to see what's wrong. She don't want to figure out what he crying for so he can process. I just seen a video where a lady told me, I can't stand my man, he do stuff. She thought something was wrong with her because she say he wake up in the morning, first thing he do, brush his teeth. Say after that, he got the same routine. Do the same things every day. Got a set schedule. Go to the gym every day. Something upset him. He look at the situation. He process it. He move on. She say, if somebody do it to me, I'm upset for weeks. Somebody be rude to me, I'm upset for days. See, that's the difference. See, because most women can't look at a situation, see it, process it, move on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing finna be bothering me for no 3-4 weeks. 2-3 days. For what? For what? We've looked at it. You've analyzed it. This made me feel this way. I understand why I felt this way. We going on with life, man. That's the beauty of being a man. You're not consumed by your emotions. So when you understand that, you have to have that level of patience with them to deal with because they're different. You know what I'm saying? I thank the Lord I wasn't born as no woman because I don't know how they deal with them emotions like that because I couldn't even imagine. To the fluctuation of emotional highs and lows and ebbs and flows day in and day out, multiple times a day. Yeah, I can't deal with that. It's absolutely not. That's why I laugh at people when they be like, oh, what's your zodiac sign? Oh, you're a Cancer, you're moody. No, I'm not. I'm the same every day. There's no mood swings. There's no fluctuation of emotions. Nigga, that's a hoe. Nigga, is you serious, nigga? That's how I taken that you were calling me a woman. It's true, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you would say, hey, man, my mama had a son. She could have had a hoe for that. What is you talking about? What is wrong with you? My mother had a son. I'm the third of 4 sons of my father. Nigga, is you crazy? You know what I'm saying? That makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. You know what I'm saying? Don't disrespect me like that. But if fourth is a woman, I wouldn't look at her and disrespect her for being emotional. It's in her nature. She can't do nothing about that. She could seek not to be emotional and be emotional. I can't be upset with her about that. There's nothing she can do with it. There's nothing she can do with that. But I'm glad I'm not one. Because I wouldn't want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to deal with that every day. Oh, I'm happy, now I'm sad. I'm angry, now I'm happy. I'd rather just be the same all day. Nigga piss me off. I'll be pissed off for about 30, 40 minutes. Move on. Because me being angry all day, what does that serve? What does that serve? What does that mean? I'm not bothering anyone but myself. That's what you have to understand. You can't walk around with emotions and feelings all day long because that's only bothering you. Then, of course, if it's only bothering you, then it's going to begin to affect your interaction with others. You know what I'm saying? I done told a brother for years, you keep acting like that, that's how you're going to be alone, man. You ain't going to have nobody with you in life. Life is not meant to be lived isolated. Life is meant to be enjoyed with the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Because life is very, very short. Like I said today, man, I started to pull up in there. But I said, boy, if I pull up in there, man, I ain't going to be able to preach tonight. And he ain't no close family member, so I can't do it. Because they had my homeboy funeral. I rode by there where they were having the funeral at. I'm like, yeah, because we got finished working a little too late. Because if I'd have got finished working a little earlier, because it started at 4, I'd have went. Because I knew I'd have got home in time to be able to be clean. When I rode by there, it was about 7 o'clock. And they were ending at 8. So I know this ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But I mentioned that the life short, man. That nigga my age, man. That nigga 41 years old. He's out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Got good respiratory infection. Notice COVID-19 led to complications in his respiratory system, and that man is out of here. So when you understanding like this here, man, that you don't know when people gonna be out of here, all that extra stuff we got going on, man, that junk irrelevant. Because you don't want to be standing there at no casket, at no grave site, thinking about what you could have did, what you should have did, what you wanted to say, what this, that, then the third, because niggas not coming back. You know what I'm saying? When you understand that type of stuff, the people you say you love and you care about, all that other stuff, that junk ain't hitting on nothing, man. I'm gonna let that go and move on my life. Because boy, you might be looking down at a dead body one day. And that opportunity to be able to get that right ain't gonna be there. Now, I ain't said this often. Sometimes I tell you this here when people pass away. And I mention this here because my homeboy passed away. And this ain't no, that's my homeboy. That was my nigga. You know what I'm saying? This is the nigga I rock with wholeheartedly. Man, it's out of here. Died last Wednesday. Seen it right after I got finished preaching. Look, I'm like, damn, my nigga gone. You know what I'm saying? This man is gone. Ain't no coming back to the coming of the Lord. So when you sit back and look at that's when you got to be able to start assessing life, man. You know your life ain't nothing but a vapor. You know tomorrow ain't promised. You got to maximize that, and you got to maximize that with the people that you care about and you love, because you don't know when the day coming when they gonna be looking at you in the casket, or you gonna be looking at them in one. And you can walk around here thinking that junk ain't relative, but boy, that man punch your time clock, and you gonna be out of here. I feel you, my G. I'm with you on that one there, and that one there. Just because I know you knew, and I knew from talking to him, we knew that was coming. That junk ain't make it no better. Cause like this here, wait, we ain't know Joe was leaving. You know what I'm saying? That junk don't make it no easier, boy. You got to look down and see a shell. Ain't no life in there. You know what I'm talking about? The person can't talk back to you. They don't even know you there. And one day that's gonna be you. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, man, you gotta maximize that there, man. Every single solitary day, we take stuff for granted because you think you're gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? We take stuff for granted because you think you're gonna be here. Life just go on as usual as you think, and you thinking, I ain't gonna meet my maker today. But you don't know when you're gonna meet him. So knowing that, love your people, man. You know what I'm talking about? Not just on no cliche junk. You know what I'm saying? I say that whenever, man, people piss you off, man, move on. Ain't no sense of being upset, sad, all this, that, there. People be like this here, man, I'm mad with my uncle and daddy and this, that, there, and the third. Man, that junk ain't hitting on nothing if you really rock with the people. Now, if they done something of a gross violation, you can't fool with them no more. Hey, man, that junk just is what it is. But if that junk minor, man, you better let that junk go. Because if you walk around mad with somebody, that's hurting you. It ain't hurting them. You know what I'm saying? 41 years old, man, all jokes aside, nigga like, nigga, oh, boy, that ain't old, boy. That man was literally beginning to touch his prime as a man. And that man is out of here. All that done to make me think about minute, because I got many homeboys who dead over the years from a multitude of causes, man. My homeboy Grape Ape, man, Tony, man, that nigga been gone for about a good almost 10 years now. Heart attack in his 30s, man. Out of here. My man Harold been gone for 25 years, man. Tony been gone for 17 years, man. 17 years. That boy Jeff been gone for 19 years. You know what I'm talking about? That's a long time. These men died in their youth. In their 20s. Except for Harold, he was 16. He died in their youth. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't even get a chance to realize none of that. You have to start looking at stuff differently, man. And all them boys ain't died from violence. Tony did. Well, Harold did, but he would be in peacemaker. You know what I'm saying? Dude who went to school with Keith got killed in a robbery in Atlanta. That man been gone by about almost 15 years. Girl I went to school with, Jamie, I don't even know how she passed. Health complications. Out of here, man. Been gone about 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that junk crazy. Because you don't know when you're going to leave. And see, most of y'all young, so your peers ain't dropping. But a lot of my peers is out of here. My man Clarence gone. Out of here. Vincent gone. Out of here. These men died young. I'm only 41, and they been dead. And these men ain't died from no violence. Been dead. That junk hit different when people you went to school with, hung with, smoked blunts with, did things like that, and they not here no more. You know what I'm saying? So, and then of course, being worldwide, Goldie, he ain't here no more. Tama, she not here no more. These people we done sat down with, broke bread with. When I'm talking about broke bread, I'm talking about book, not food. They not here no more. And that's coming up on 10 years for both of them. You know what I'm saying? And they died in the same calendar year. Literally about 2 months apart, about 60 days apart. 2015. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, take that junk seriously, man. Like, shoot, boy, that junk ain't seem like it. Well, my pop's been gone for a good little minute. It definitely been close to about 5 years already. So take your life seriously. Take your service to Yahuwah seriously. Take your interaction with those you care about seriously, because you don't know when that time clock gonna get punched. And if your clock get punched, you at least want to have a ruach in you when you get punched, because at least you know you can sleep in peace. That those that are asleep, when you arise, you can speak. But blessed out the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua, man. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Yahuwah with it, man. We'll pick it up on tomorrow. Make it do what it do. Until that time.